What's going on, guys? National Master James Canty III here, and today we're going through Dvoretsky's Endgame manual. We're going to have many videos going through this entire book, the big boy book, because it's Dvoretsky's Endgame manual, the 5th edition. I just got the copy here over at Forward Chess, so make sure you guys get the app and check it out, and you can read the book exactly how I'm doing it, even on your mobile phone or anything else. But of course, the link is right under the video, guys. Definitely get you a Dvoretsky Endgame manual, 5th edition, and study it this way. Let's get right into it, guys. So here we go. Dvoretsky Endgame Manual 5th edition. I'm using the Forward Chess app on my desktop computer right now. So let's see what happens here. Okay, title page. All right, here we go. Now, this is Mark Dvoretsky, of course. So this is just, I think it came out this year. So copyright 2020, right? This is the brand new book, guys. So this is just the title page from the author, 1st edition. They're talking about, we're not going to read all of this. They're just talking about in-game ideas and like the author 1st edition. This one's the 5th edition, so they're saying basically, hey, thank you, this is the 5th edition. Here's a foreword by Kramnik. I'm actually going to read this in the off time, not here, guys, because this is extremely long, so I'm not going to read this here. But when you guys get the book, you can read the foreword here, and we got Kramnik. So let's get right into it. I'm going to scroll right over here to the right and just go down to Pawn Endgames in Chapter 1, Key Squares. Let's go. Here we go. Now, this stuff I am going to read. I am going to read this because I like to read books front to back. And of course, if we weren't on the video here, I would absolutely read the foreword and the introduction and the author and everything else, because you want the full experience of reading the book. So here, we're going to read this, absolutely. Pawn Endgames. Pawn endings are very concrete. Even the tiniest change in a position generally alters the shape and outcome of the struggle. Here, you can rarely get along on general principles. You must know how to calculate accurately. Okay, the study of pawn endings chiefly boils down not to the memorization of exact positions, but to the assimilation of standard techniques, which considerably eases our search for a solution and the calculation of variations. Many pawn endings are clearly defined tempo battles. It's nice. In these endgames, speed is everything. Which pawn will queen first? Will the king come in time to stop the passed pawn or get the other side of the board in time? And there are other pawn endings in which a maneuvering war predominates and in which zugzwang assumes paramount importance. Maneuvering endgames are generally more complex than rapid ones, but we shall begin with them anyway in order to acquire the vital concept of corresponding squares. That's very important. He talks about that. I actually have the 4th edition already on another device, 4th edition, but this 5th edition, I'm excited to see what they have here. So then we shall switch to studying the ideas involved in rapid endgames before returning once again to maneuvering. Key squares. Key squares are what we call those squares whose occupation by the king assures victory, regardless of whose turn it is to move. In other types of endgames, we may speak of key squares for other pieces besides the king. So in this diagram here, and you guys, this is so cool. I like when I click on it, it goes right to the thing. But here, this is just, I guess, simple, right? I mean, this is a simple one. Depends on whose move it is. Of course, if you don't know this endgame, you should know this endgame. If not, you're going to learn here today. If it depends on whose move it is here, but I think, does that mean white to move? I think that means white to move here. So white to move is a draw. Yeah, that's what this means, color thing down here. White to move, it's a draw. If it's black to move, then he loses, of course. Black can't move, so we can't make it black to move here. The d5 square, on which the king now is not a square, white move does not win. The key square, c6, d6, e6. Black to move must retreat the king, allowing the enemy king onto one of those squares that we just talked about. Yes. With white to move, the position is drawn, since he cannot move to any key square. With the pawn on the 5th rank, see the next diagram, that's this one, pawn on the 5th rank, the key squares are not only a7, b7, and c7, but the similar 6th rank squares of a6, b6, and c6. a6, b6, c6. White wins, even if he is on the move. And it's this way usually. King here, they get opposition, and then we push, and then we go through, and then we queen. That's the usual way. And actually, it shows it right here too. King a6, Oops. Okay, king a8, b6, yeah, and b7. Nice. Okay, what is this one? This one's a new diagram. Oh, okay. Key squares, a6, b6, c6. The sensible thing here is to head for the square farthest from the enemy king, which is over here, since that will be the hardest to defend. And here we go, king c2, king e7, king b3. So you kind of go outside of the pawn here. It says king a4, king c4. King c4 is no good due to king c6, and it's a draw. So you have to go back this way. King a4. King a4, yeah, that's nice. King c6, king a5, king b7, king b5, and then white's just winning here. If you don't know this, then we'll just put it here very quickly, of course, because I know we have some beginners here on the channel. So we're going to finish this one out here. Push, push, and queen. And then you win. What's this next one here? Okay, click on this one. Oh yes, I remember this one. Usually they have the king on g1 though. In the other book, it was king on g1. But here's white to move, and this one's interesting. It's king f1. It's king f2. Sorry, king f2. And people mess this up all the time. They say if you go king g1, trying to go around him on the h file and trying to snag the pawn up on h5, then he has king d7, and black's king successfully defends the pawn. That's crazy. Man, king here, and he gets there in time. He's defended, it's a draw. Okay, so go back. Oh, sorry, that's flipping the board. Okay, so the best move is actually king to f2. King f2. Now if king d7, king g3, king e6, king h4. And he's there. Interesting. Nice. All right, so back to original position. King f2, h4. Oh man, this one's hard. Wow. Dang, I didn't even see that one. I thought it was king f3. I thought it was king f3. How many people here thought it was king f3? I'm gonna raise my hand right now. I was definitely like, oh, king f3. But it's not it. It says king f3 is refuted by h3. If the pawn is taken, black king heads to h8. And if g4, white cannot gain control of the key squares on the 6th rank. After king d7, king g3, king e6, king takes, king f6, king xh4, or king h4, and then king g6. And it's a draw, book draw. Wow, if it was on a 6th rank, that'd be a win, but wow. Insane. So instead of king f3, you have this miraculous move. Can you see it? Are you ready for it? Here it is. King g1. Moving the king back. That's some endgame for you right there. King g1, and then after h3, here we go. Of course, you don't take it. g3. That's beautiful. The key squares for the pawn on g3 are on the 5th rank now, closer to white's king. Deep. That's deep chess right there. King d7, king h2, king e6, take, king f5, and there we go. We're right in front of the pawn. No matter where you move, there's opposition, and I'm feeling great. This is awesome. King g6, king g4. Okay, and this one says, okay, and that was it. So corresponding squares, here we go. Corresponding squares are squares of reciprocal Zugzwang. Wow, let's read that again. Corresponding squares are squares of a reciprocal Zugzwang. Wow, okay. We may speak of corresponding squares for kings with pawns, and with other material. We may speak of correspondings between any pairs of pieces. The most commonly seen cases of corresponding squares are the opposition, mined squares, and triangulation. Tragic comedies, oh, they have this in, tragic comedies are in Van Perlo Endgame Tactics. That's a nice one. But tragic comedies, yes. Here we go. Okay, so whose move is it here? The lady played white. Oh, it says it's white down here. So tragic comedies, that means they really messed this up somehow. So it may be like, I don't know, king f5 or It could be like, what does she do? The lady playing white, Scotland's board 1, saw that she lost. She must lose the d5 pawn and therefore resigned. Oh no, you could try to figure this out. When can I say accept? No comment needed. Wow, wow. She resigned here? No. So it should be like, they don't have the... Oh, here we go. I was like, where's the diagram? Is this it? King e5, king e7? Nope, that's not it. It's kind of weird. So I think, yes, you lose the pawn, but like, let's do this. King here. King here. The ideal is to get the opposition. You give up the pawn and get the opposition. Yes, you're losing the pawn, and how are we losing it? So let's go here. He's gonna like box you out. Is it king here? It should be just here. Yeah, this works. This works. King here, here. But any way that you get boxed out, you can come back and get that opposition again. Any way you get boxed out there. How about king here, king here? Yeah, yeah, same thing. White to move. I mean, does anything matter? Can't I just go like anywhere? It doesn't matter as long as I can get the opposition when he takes this pawn. They maybe try to trick you too, like here. Then maybe here, but you just go back. If you go here, though, you lose on the spot. And white resigned in this position. So just so you know, if you are playing white, you ever get a position like this, it's good to know this. It's good to know this endgame technique here. I wonder if you could even get away with this, like, just moving the king here, because it's the same concept. You have to stay around the corresponding squares, like they said, right? That's nice. We learned it already. Corresponding squares, and then come back to it. King here, and then opposition. How about like king here? I mean, I'm like far away. It feels like I'm so far away here. Even here, takes opposition. Nice. She resigned, man. That hurts. That hurts. Here's none. Oh, I remember this one. This one. What do you think this one is, guys? I do remember this one actually. White in this position played. Let's flip the board. White in this position played rook f4. Rook f4. And black played this right here. You ready? King g5. Oh my goodness, game's over. King g5. Wow. The look on their face was probably hurt. Oh my goodness, king g5. What do? You can't move the rook. So if the rook takes f5 check, king takes f5, and now it's a face off here. And of course, black's winning. Like, this is easy. This is easy. Oh my goodness. This is easy. Start a new game, guys. Start a new game all the way through. That's a queen. Real quick and easy. Make it a queen. Real quick. Real easy. Okay? And white resigned. Yeah, white resigned after that. Man, that kind of is messed up. All right, here we go. Next one. Opposition. Opposition is a state of two kings standing on the same file with one square separating them. Close. Oh, close. I'm like, close or close? Close opposition. 3 or 5 squares between them. Is distant opposition. Okay. So 1 square is close opposition. 3 or 5 squares is distant. Yeah, that makes sense. The opposition may be vertical, horizontal, or diagonal. Okay. Yeah, I already knew that. It's pretty good. To get the opposition means to achieve the standing of kings 1 square apart with the opponent to move. To get the opposition means to achieve this standing of kings 1 square apart from the opponent to move. I have to keep reading that. To get the opposition means to achieve the standing of the kings 1 square apart with the opponent to move. That is to place him in zugzwang. To fall him into opposition means, conversely, to fall into zugzwang himself. Okay. Very advanced. Then we return to diagram 1, which is where? Simplest case of opposition, close to vertical, king c5. Yes, this is pretty easy, pretty simple stuff. So he's talking about opposition. This one, though, I'll be flip the board, look at it from white's point of view. It's black to move, though, so we'll look at it from here. Oh, yes, I have studied this position before. What do you guys think this is? Is this a win for white, or is it a draw? Because, of course, black's not winning this. I mean, unless is there a fatal error kind of thing. but black is not winning this. White definitely has some winning chances. So let's see what happens. Opposition is the main weapon for 3 connected. This is 1-7. So, okay, this one's different. Here we go. When we are speaking of opposition, it is usually not just one pair of squares, but several, which are under consideration. You got C5, C7, D5, D7, E5, E7. Okay, the stronger side gets the opposition in order to execute an outflanking, where the enemy king retreats to one side and our king then attacks the other way. Whew. Nice explanation. The weaker side gets the opposition in order to prevent this outflanking. All right, here we go. White has the opposition, but is it enough to win, guys? Is it enough to win? He has the opposition as black to move, and the answer is no. He does not have enough to win. The move actually is king to c7. King a7 is a mistake. And I actually did that before in like my studies, just looking at it. And I was like, oh, king a7, because I remembered the concept, but it does matter. Let's see why. King a7, a5. And after b takes a5, because you basically have to take it, king takes a5, and here we're getting the opposition, and it decides the game because white has the opposition, and there's a pawn here. We're not able to get in front of it. So if we try to get in front of it, we get here and we notice, oh my goodness, I'm losing. I'm losing. Yeah, so king c7 is the way. Here we go. King c7. He goes king a6 to try to outflank you or shoulder you out. It also says c5 is useless. Correct. c5 is useless. If you were wondering, why not opposition this way? Because it's a rook pawn. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I am out the way. It doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. I don't care. I am in the corner. You can't get me out of this corner. And there is the stalemate. Actually, black to move. Can't move anywhere. Stalemate. Man, that's nice. So king to c7, king a6. They try to shoulder you out, hoping you play king c8 or something crazy here. And then we get the opposition this way. King a6, king c6, king a7, king c7, king a8, and king to c8. And then it's a draw, and it's back and forth. King c7, king a7, king c6, king b8. Ooh, so you can't play king c6, and then he's outflanking you and you're losing. So you got to be careful. Follow the king. Follow the king. Wow. All right, guys, that is it for a little bit here. We don't want these videos to be extremely long, so we're going to do 15 to 20 minute videos, guys, and we'll do another one and more in-game parts to the book. This is chapter 1 we're in right now with pawn Endgames. So I'll see you guys on the next video with chapter 1, part 2, going through the pawn Endgames in Dvoretsky's in-game manual. Guys, thanks for watching here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can catch all the updates and stuff that's posted on here. And make sure you follow, and share the video and all the other good stuff. Put some comments in the video if you like this and anything that you learned from this video as well. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you on the next video.